world champion black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you're a Brazilian, you're going to take the opportunity to go and teach in LA or, I mean, look at the UAE now and what they're
Yeah.
doing out there.
Mm.
A few of my students are teaching full-time out there now. And
Really?
yeah.
In Abu Dhabi specifically, or
Um,
just all over the
Either
place?
Saudi or Abu Dhabi.
Hmm. I know
There's
Bahrain's big now as well because I lived and worked in Bahrain for I think 6 months, and back then it was about 2016. They were talking about the king's son, I think. Or yeah, someone in the royal family was starting like an MMA team, and I think they had plans to get all these big fighters and things, which I think they did. And now they've got that Brave Combat Federation, which
that's right.
has, I think, the most different countries to have had, like the MMA organization with the
Yeah,
most country events in the most countries throughout the entire world.
yeah,
So they really
absolutely.
took it. It's really taken off.
And they do it well as well. I
Oh
think
yes.
very professional and yeah, really nicely done. They look after their
Mm,
fighters, and that's something that I think within MMA the fighters aren't always looked after. I mean, they need to be paid something that's worth their time and effort
mm,
for a start. And some organizations they don't do that. And you think this guy's spending his life training for this. He's putting his life on the line.
mm,
Pay him something that is actually worth, and
mm.
that's something that I think the MMA community as a whole certainly needs to deal with because, obviously there's the superstars that driving around in their Ferraris and they make millions and millions, but
Mm,
it's the rest of the guys, it's the guys down here that need to be justly rewarded as well. I think
mm.
I think that's very important.
They keep the shows going because you can have your big fights and things like that, and maybe okay, excluding Conor McGregor because obviously that's like one of one. But say now like your top tier guys, your John Joneses, your Islam Makhachev, Khabib before that, they can only fight X number of times a year, X number of
Yes.
events a year, and UFC's literally got events almost every single day. So those guys and girls at the bottom are the ones that really. I use UFC as an example, but it could be any
Mm.
organization, and they're the ones that really keep it going
Yeah, absolutely.
and get the people, other than the pay-per-views, get people watching and people interested.
And do it in a healthy manner as well. I mean, I know as an example, One Championships, the way they do their weigh-ins for the
Mm,
MMA fighters, it's done nicely. They take what weights from a number of weeks out and they average them
mm,
because the whole weight cutting thing is so dangerous. I mean, when when you get a guy that's fighting MMA and when 50% of it is actually how he performs as a fighter
mm,
and the other 50% is how efficient as a weight cutter he is, come on,
mm. Or
I
Black
mean,
Paddy the Baddy. They say they reckon Paddy Pimblett. I don't know if it's Joe Rogan or one of his opponents was saying like they reckon because he gets so big, he fights at 155, but he weighs about 210, 220.
yeah,
They say basically his camps are not him getting better. So first off, between fights, he can't fight. He can't really train optimally.
right,
So they reckon his level is staying the same because all he does in his camps is cut weight. It's
got it.
one big weight cut. So he's not really even getting better. And besides the health effects, obviously, but like it's just, if it's true, it's a really stupid way to go about it because you're
Yeah,
always going to be there.
yeah,
And then you're putting your health at risk as
absolutely.
well. That
Uh,
yo-yo dieting is
yeah,
not good.
and it's become the standard, unfortunately. I mean, like One Championship do it well, but most organizations. I mean, I lost count on the number of times that I've been sat in a hotel bathroom with a fighter in the bath, boiling hot water, Epsom salts, and then a bin bag taped
Mm-hmm.
over the bath and his head sticking out. And I've got to stay there to make sure he doesn't fall asleep. That's standard for MMA fighters pre-fight, just so they can drop weight. And I've seen fighters that haven't made weight. They've gone and jumped on a stationary bike, wearing a sauna suit in a
In a
sauna
sauna.
to come back, and I'm thinking these guys can hardly stand up, let alone fight.
Mm,
And you see it the next day when they do fight, they're just absolutely drained. So I think it's we need to take that out of the equation. I think
mm,
that's a real dangerous part of the sport, to be honest.
mm. Have you seen that video clip of the guy literally getting dragged onto the scale, not being able to stand?
Yeah,
My question is just fine, you've made weight, but So they used to weigh you in the night before you used to have the big weigh-in, which is now the ceremonial weigh-in, I think, right?
Mm.
And now they weigh you in, I think, the morning before, so they give you say 36 hours, whatever it is. My question is just like, I've done weight cuts before, but I didn't need to actually perform at a physical level. It was like for bodybuilding shows and things like that. So it's just about how you look. But I
Yes.
felt horrible. I felt absolutely horrible. And I can't imagine it's hard enough to like fight somebody for 15 minutes or 25 minutes when you're hydrated and you're at full energy, but I can't imagine that you even fight nearly at your optimum level having done all that
No.
weight cutting before.
No. Absolutely. It makes a huge difference to be drained and try to rehydrate. And obviously the temptation is, but then in the meantime, your electrolytes are all over the place. Your potassium sodium balance, that kind of thing, gets seriously screwed up throughout this process.
Mm.
So no, it's a horrible situation, and the guys are severely drained a lot of the time when they fight. I mean, talking about, I think more people now realize recently that there are two weigh-ins,
Mm.
but most people didn't know before that the weigh-in they see on TV isn't the weigh-in at all. The weigh-in's off to the side at another time, mainly because the guys look terrible.
Mm.
Um, and when the guys do the second weigh-in, the ceremonial one, they're reading a weight, and they're not reading off the scales. The
Oh,
weight's
really?
completely, yeah, they're reading the weight that they weighed in earlier.
Oh,
So they're pretending, oh, this
yeah,
guy
they're
probably
knocking
weighs,
that thing around, making you think that they.
yeah, I mean, this guy in the meantime is 4 or 5 kilos heavier than what the guy's saying because the
Really?
actual weigh-in was earlier.
I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
honestly thought they were doing it
yeah,
right there. So
yeah.
is it the same for boxing as well? Do you know? Is
I'm
it
not
for.
sure. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I know with the like especially with the Conor McGregor fight, with Floyd Mayweather, they were like looking over his shoulder to make sure it was the right weight, and
right.
so I
Yeah,
don't know if that is that showmanship or do they really get the weight on the day?
yeah.
Gee, I didn't
No,
know that though.
yeah. I mean, and when the guys are trying to um, drop down, and it's really, as a professional, you shouldn't come in overweight, and some
Mm,
do, and it's like that should be, for as far as I'm concerned, that should be it for them because
mm,
you've put the other fighter in such a difficult position. You're there to fight. Now, if you come in overweight, you're either going to say, well, I'm not going to fight you because we won't be allowed, or we'll do it as a catch weight,
mm-hmm.
which also isn't quite fair.
Yeah,
Or we're going to fight, but I'm going to have an advantage. I
yeah,
mean, that's,
big time.
yeah, it's not fair. It's
It's
not
like
fair.
Hamza Chimaev did that in the last. It was just a complete shit show. It was like they had to reshuffle people, they had to pay other people more, and you had Kevin Holland had to now go prep. It was a completely different opponent that he had to like the night before or something like that. He
Yeah,
had to just
it's not
make that
fair.
decision. It's not fair. But I understand that, like, so I think that's why the UFC now, especially, I don't know if the other organizations do it, why they've got a backup fighter cutting weight as well, especially in title fights.
Yes.
Because it's like if the one guy misses weight and there's no way that they can agree to fight each other because of whatever advantage, or maybe someone says take more of his purse instead of 30%, give me more of his purse, they've got a backup fighter. But even that then like just screws up everything,
Yeah.
because if you've been prepping for, I don't know, someone that's better off their back, and all of a sudden you go against some berserker that's like good at Muay Thai,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it
Your
just
game
doesn't
plan's
make
been thrown
sense.
out the
It's
window.
done, it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just, it must be tough. I mean, I don't know if there's any right way to do things. I mean, with the weight cutting, with reshuffling events, the business side of things, paying fighters, which most people think they should be paid more. But I think to run an organization, um, and to do long-term planning just from a bit like a financial point of view per event and long-term, it can't be easy.
No.
I don't think there's one right way to do it.
No, I don't think any of those events made any money in their first 5 years or however many years. I think it's a long haul to actually get the money in the first place, which you have to appreciate.
Mm,
To be running at a loss for a number of years first, so you kind of go, well, they're gonna try and scrape the profits back and that kind of thing, but then they need to walk that line and look after their fighters as well.
I
Definitely.
I hope the UFC doesn't go the full commercial route now, because I see they've got a brand that's sponsoring them, a drinks brand
Yeah.
that I don't even know what the laws are allowed, if you're allowed to say the name or not or whatever, but that's sponsoring them. That's a lot of people are not very happy with it and are not. They weren't happy when there were fighters like CM Punk getting big amounts of money.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people feel like they don't put the best guys against the best guys anymore. So I'm hoping that it doesn't go that way, because I still enjoy watching UFC.
Yeah.
And it is a business at the end of the day, but I'm hoping it doesn't take that route.
Yeah, it needs to be exciting. There's always going to be a balance, isn't there, between giving the people a show and doing what they want to do to grow the business. Hopefully it's the both go hand in hand, but not always. Not always, unfortunately.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that clip, I've got another one for you over here and over here. Please don't forget to subscribe over here and have a look at my other socials down in the description box below. Thanks for watching.